A lot of people are wondering what an mRNA vaccine is, and I want to teach you about it in a very simple way. But first, you need to understand some basic functions of a cell. We're going to pretend that the cell is like a bakery. Let's take a look behind the scenes to see how the cakes and cookies are created in this particular bakery. In the biology bakery, we have a book of top secret recipes that we keep hidden in a locked safe. This book of recipes represents the DNA in a human cell. Every day, the bakery makes a copy of this cookbook because the original book of recipes is much too precious to be out in the open. This copy is called mRNA. This copy has every ingredient and bit of instructions to make any dessert you can imagine. So, of course, the cooks get right to work creating their delicious sweets. This is the assembly process and represents a cell working to make chemicals like proteins that the human needs to survive, so that finally we have a finished product. In this case, the desserts represent a protein. At the end of the day, the copy, or the mRNA, is thrown away and a new copy is made the next day. I don't want to forget to mention, there's always a security guard around. If anyone or anything tries to break in and steal the secret recipes or cause the chefs any trouble, he'll arrest them right then and there. That's your immune system. A virus is like a villain who can't afford his own restaurant, so he has to break into existing food establishments because for one reason or another, he wants to cook up some of his special casseroles. So a virus sneaks in the back door and replaces the copy of recipes with his book of recipes. The chefs don't realize it because they're accustomed to simply following instructions. But when the place starts smelling like tuna casserole, the security guards know something is up, and they do all they can to get rid of the virus. But it's not easy, because not only does the virus cook up a totally different recipe, it also makes copies of itself and instructs them to hurry on down the road and sneak into other restaurants. If the security guard is strong, he can fight them off right then and there. But those villains can be a lot stronger than you think, and boy, are they fast. So if the virus gets away and the security guard still has his senses, he can use his walkie-talkie to alert other restaurants or cells about the virus. If the virus isn't stopped, he will overwork the cells and kill them, and he will continue killing more and more cells until he is stopped. Once the virus has been stopped, your body's security system hangs up wanted posters about the intruder, so the security guards will never ever be caught off guard again and will be more informed the next time around. Let's review before we talk about vaccines. DNA is protected in the nucleus, so when your body needs to do some work, it makes a copy and follows the instructions to produce chemicals that your body needs for survival. A virus sneaks in and replaces the copy of your DNA, or the mRNA, with its own set of instructions and makes it a top priority to make copies of itself, and sometimes it makes other chemicals that mess up the functioning of the cell. Your immune system's job is to stop the virus any way that it can and to remember what the virus looked like so it can't sneak in again. Within your lifetime, all of the vaccines you've had against viruses have been small doses of the virus. It's a way that we can inform your immune system about what the intruder looks like without overwhelming it. We give it just enough so it can make an accurate wanted poster. An mRNA vaccine is different because it doesn't involve the actual virus at all. Scientists have learned about the casserole recipe book used by the virus, and they make their own version of that book in a laboratory. They inject people with the synthetic mRNA, so your body will go ahead and make the tuna casserole. That way in the future, the security guards know to be on the lookout for a casserole recipe book. So there are several important issues about this new mRNA vaccine. For one, the mRNA molecule is very fragile, so at many points in its transport and storage, it is at risk of being destroyed. That makes it very expensive to deal with. We also don't know anything about the long-term effects of this type of vaccine. The consequences could be nothing, or they could be something out of a sci-fi adventure. Most likely, the long-term effects will fall somewhere in between and will be different for different people. Many argue that a vaccine isn't even necessary because eventually we will all be exposed and gain immunity naturally. So for that reason, we arrive at the biggest ethical issue we face. Who gets the vaccine first? Many people are campaigning that we should be fair and be sure that everyone has equal opportunities. So they say that people in prison or those who have several disadvantages like low income or bad health should be a top priority. Sounds nice and thoughtful, huh? Or are they being used as part of the experiment to make sure it's safe for the rest of us? I don't know, but thank you for joining me in the Biology Bakery. Come back to my channel for more interesting ideas about science, philosophy, and occasionally religion.